All right. Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. We're going to face the east and give all glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Ruach Yahweh, being the true name and the only name in the Paleo Hebrew, the Lashawan Kodash, or the Holy Tongue, for the world ignorantly calls God. Yahweh Shai, being the true name and the only name in the Paleo Hebrew, the Lashawan Kodash, or the Holy Tongue, for the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, letting you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans of Negroid and indigenous descent, through the lineage of your fathers, know you are the true children of Israel. Yasharallah in the Paleo Hebrew, meaning he, prince of the power. Double honors and salutations to the elders and apostles of great millstone who rule well and teach well, who I learn from daily, the sincere brothers on down, and the likewise like-minded brothers who are scattered throughout this earth, teaching the same doctrine. You Akim and you Aquaf, you brothers and you sisters who have returned to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai in spirit and in truth, I bid you a shalom, and you speckled bird Israelite foreigners who look like the heathen nations, but truly go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, I bid you a shalom as well. And when the 17 nations outside of Yasharallah are reading the Bible, what are they truly reading? They are reading your history. So it's your brother, Amawan Yasharallah, back out here on the highways and hedges prayerfully with another edifying lesson for the lost sheep of the house of Israel, the elect 1/3 who are imparted with this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, the spiritual eyes to see and the spiritual ears to hear, man. And what are we dealing with? It's always the same thing. It's prophecy, man. The testimony of who the world calls Jesus Christ is the spirit of prophecy. Prophecy means to say before. So what are we saying before? Well, guess what? What we're saying before is all hell's finna break loose here in Babylon the Great, which is a code word or a buzzword for America. You people don't understand that you live in the most famous place according to the Bible, which is Babylon the Great. The beauty of the Chaldees, excellency. We went into it last night. Isaiah the 13th chapter, around the 19th verse, calls it what? The glory of kingdoms, man. So America will be, or the so-called white man, Esau, Edom, will be in power. America will be in power, the last kingdom that will be ruling before the kingdom of heaven becomes is issued or ushered in, man. So what the world doesn't understand is what? The kingdom of heaven is going to be right here on the face of the earth. What is the kingdom of heaven? You so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans coming back into rulership on the face of the earth. What's going on, Ak? You believe in the Heavenly Father?
Oh, man. Faith is what I go by.
Okay.
Yeah.
But do you go by the faith? Do you go by the faith that is written in the word, or what we were taught through religion, through ideology?
I go through both, yes.
Well, you can only go through one.
Well, yeah, I believe in faith. Yes.
Okay, I know you believe. I know you believe.
Everything I'm looking at on these pictures, I understand it.
Right. So what's your nationality, brother? What's your nationality according to the Heavenly Father? That's what I'm here for. So guess what? Would your father be a so-called black man or a Negro? What they call blacks in America? Would your father be that? That ain't what I'm talking about. Your real blood father. Do you come from a Negro man?
I come from a Negro.
Okay, well then here. Okay, well guess what? Your nationality would be an Israelite from the tribe of Judah. Who was the top? Okay, well, guess what?
No, but it's real.
Okay, well, at the end of the day, man, if you don't want to do this, guess what? You're going to do?
No, I'm not just saying I'm doing it. No, I'm not.
It's your fate.
No, my faith ain't got nothing to do with it.
No, your fate, F-A-T-E. If you don't want to deal with this, if you don't want to deal with the truth, the Heavenly Father, who is your blood father, he only the father of these people right here, though. The Israelites, so-called black, Hispanic, and Native American, Negroid, and indigenous descent. And it's not a color thing because it goes to your bloodline. So these men were scattered, these people were scattered throughout the face of the earth as a punishment from the Heavenly Father, so they laid down with all the women. So when you lay down with all the women, you got people who look like so-called white people who really go back to Israel. What would be an example of that? Tupac had a song with that boy John B. Remember that? Is John B. Do you believe John B. a white man for real? Huh? I hear you. Right, because his spirit goes back to Israel. because we can't be copied or duplicated. So you know, women like somebody like Tina Marie. Tina Marie, she's not she looks so-called white, but her spirit is what? She's an Israelite. That's why she was able to go up there with Rick James, Fire and Desire, and all that shit. You know, we the only ones who can make that type of music because we have a spirit like no other people. So at the end of the day, what you got to understand is this. You know, when you're reading the Bible, what are you truly reading? You're reading our history. Yeah. So the Jeremiah, Isaiah, all those guys who wrote those books look just like you, me and you. When the so-called white man is looking at us, who they see? No. The Messiah. Exactly. No, it ain't why. It ain't why. I mean, it ain't nothing about we think. That's what it is. Let me read you something real quick. Watch this. Genesis chapter 25. What does the word Genesis mean? Exactly. So we're going to go to the beginning to find out. We're going to prove that that's the reason why they hate us. Watch this. Genesis chapter 25. So when you read the Bible, this is the main story for real that set up everything. Genesis the 25th chapter, the birth of Jacob and Esau. Because Jacob is the progenitor of who? He's the father of these people right here. He had 12 sons who will be the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American today. And Esau is the progenitor of who? Who you call the so-called white man. See that? So watch this. Genesis chapter 25. I'm going to go to 27. Genesis chapter 27 and verse 38. Watch this. And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me even also, my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. What is a better word for wept? Wept or weep. What's a better word for weep? Crying. Can the so-called white man? Huh? Weep or crying would be a better word for weep. So can the so-called white man take any type of injustice? Anything that happened, the shit that happened to us, can the so-called white man take that? No. What is he gonna do if it happened to him? He gonna cry, right? So we proving that that we just read the traits of Esau, right? Watch this. Then Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven above. So the so-called white man was given the fatness of the earth. That's why you see him ruling right now. Watch this. And by the sword shall I live. What is the modern day sword, brother? What's the modern day sword? The gun. Who goes crazy? What's the second amendment of the U.S. Constitution? That's the reason why they passed that gun law on purpose. Right. So when we catch a felony, we lose what? The right to bear arms. Who catch the majority of the felonies? Right. So guess what? We reading that. And by the sword shall I live, and shall serve thy brother. Who was Esau's brother? Jacob. So we are the true rulers of the earth, man. They know that.
I got a BMW.
So they have done everything in their power to try to what? Destroy us, man. Watch this. And by the sword shall I live, and shall serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass, meaning prophecy or the future, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. So what the so-called white man don't teach us is the true meaning of the dark ages. He tell you in the dark ages there was no light, there was no mathematics, there was no technology. But the truth of the dark ages was the 1,000-year period where we was ruling the earth. What you would call the Moors. Right, or the Holy Roman Empire. Right? That's the dark ages where the so-called black ruled the earth. The white man don't teach us that. Verse 41, here go the point. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. So they hate us because they know we're going to have the true rulership and domain of the earth. Wherewith his father blessed him, and Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father at hand, then I will slay my brother Jacob. So the so-called white man, every time you see him beating us down, it's because guess what? What's the hatred?
But he's saying this, but yeah, okay, I'm not going to lie. We have went through a whole lot of things through this journey, but things are changing.
Okay, things are changing. Guess what? Because he gonna seek the. What do you mean things are changing?
We starting to come together and realize like what's going on.
Well, guess what? To an extent, okay, that's cool. But all right, but what is the Bible? What is the real message of the scriptures? The message of the scriptures is rulership. So guess what? This place is about to be destroyed. This is biblical. World War III is biblical, brother. See that? What's going on, Will?
Pretty much what you.
All right, brother.
Pretty much
You ain't got to creep past me, man. All right, brother. I ain't gonna hunt you down.
What you pretty much saying? You're saying is that, but what you're saying is the war.
No, it's gonna be nuclear war. That's written. Watch this. Malachi chapter 4 verse 1. Watch this. Malachi 4 and 1. You all right, brother? If you got to go, it's called cool.
Yes, sir.
All right, brother. Well, you're an Israelite from the tribe of Judah. And this what they coming down. Well, whether you respect it or not, guess what? Everybody who, if you ain't down with the Messiah, you down with them, and you're gonna be destroyed. That's the truth, brother. So it don't. No matter if you believe or whatever, it don't change what's being purposed. The same way, us coming over on slave ship. Guess what? That's what the Heavenly Father purposed. That's already written in the scriptures, and it happened. Everything happens on the earth through the power of the Heavenly Father. Ain't nobody out here in free will. You came past here because the Heavenly Father wanted you to come past here, right. Whether you receive it or not.
Right.
So if you
receive,
well, okay, well that's what you call receiving it, but receiving is gonna be turning away. But you be cool, brother. Don't worry about it. Lord willing, He might bring you back another time. You might have time.
I'm on everything what you're saying right now.
Okay, brother.
I cipher it.
Okay, brother. All right.
Respect, no real.
No. I ain't the one you gotta convince,
no,
brother.
all right.
Right. So that's all good. You already know, brother. So at the end of the day, man, that's why we out here, man. That's exactly why we out here. And it's so funny because guess what? The other brother came past. He put his hood on and try to walk past me as if, guess what? I'm trying to hunt you down. What you doing? Or what? You ain't come back over. Hey, man, guess what? Whether you here for it, let's get that. Whether you here for Forbear, it don't matter, man. Don't matter, man. The word got to come out regardless, man. Ezekiel chapter 2, and I read this a couple nights ago, but guess what? We got to read it again because it's playing out in real time. Ezekiel chapter 2, and I'm going to start at verse 3. And he said unto me, Son of man, I send thee to the children of Israel, Yasharallah, to a rebellious nation that have rebelled against me. That's all our people. Rebel means wage war. So when you rebel against the word, you wage a war against Yahweh Shem Yahushua. They and their fathers have transgressed against me, even unto this very day. So the same ones who are not listening today are coming past, talking about, man, I know what you're talking about, man. I feel you. I gotta miss the bus. I don't want to miss the bus. Or, hey, man, act like you don't want to be seen. Well, guess what? You are the same. You are those same spirits who rebelled back in what they would call biblical times. Not understanding that you still living in biblical times because the scriptures are a living document, man. Verse 4, Ezekiel 2 and 4, for they are imputed children and stiff-hearted, very hard-headed, man. Our people don't believe shit till they see it. I do send thee unto them, and thou shalt say unto them, thus saith the Lord Adonai Yahweh. And they, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear, for they are a rebellious house, yet shall they know that there have been a prophet among them. So regardless if you listen or you don't, you can sit there and say, hey, man, I'm down with everything you talking about, man. Hey, I feel where you coming from. Whether you hear or forbear, whether you accept it or reject it, guess what? It don't matter. You going to understand what? That a prophet was amongst you. You going to understand this dude who was sitting out here, out here on the streets teaching. Guess what, man? He knew what he was talking about. The Wadi Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Let's get a precept. Let's get a precept backing that up, man. Let's go to the book of Baruch. The book of Baruch in the Apocrypha. The book of Baruch in the Apocrypha. Chapter 1 and verse 18. Baruch chapter 1 and verse 18. Let's start at 17. For we have sinned before the Adonai Yahweh. Yeah, we are the ones who were given, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, is the ones who was given the covenant. You were given the law, statutes, and commandments. The Heavenly Father made a contract with you. See that? As the chosen people. See that? Verse 18. And disobeyed him and have not hearkened unto the voice of the Lord our power. Guess what? Who is the voice of the Lord? The voice of the Lord is, let's get it for a quick precept. Ezekiel, I believe that's Ezekiel the 38th chapter. Ezekiel chapter 38 and verse 17. Ezekiel 38:17. Thus saith the Lord Adonai Yahweh, art thou he of whom I have spoken in old times by my servants, the prophets of Israel, which prophesied in those days, many years, that I will bring thee against them? So at the end of the day, the prophets is the mouth of the Lord. The prophets, he speaks to you through his men that he set up. See that? Let's prove that even further. Exodus chapter 7 and verse 1. Exodus 7 and 1. And the Adonai Yahweh said unto Moses, see, I have made thee a god to Pharaoh, and Aaron thy brother shall be thy prophet. So Aaron was the mouthpiece of Moses, man. See that? Man. So at the end of the day, the Lord speaks through his men that he set up, man. Let's go back. Baruch, what up? What's going on, brother? Baruch chapter 1. And verse 18. And disobeyed him and have not hearkened unto the voice of the Adonai our power to walk in the commandments that he gave us openly. Verse 19. Since the day that the Adonai brought our forefathers out of the land of Egypt, unto this present day, we have been disobedient unto the Adonai our power, and we have been negligent in not hearing his voice. So our people have been doing this shit, man. But the thing about it is, now it's coming a time where you're going to pay for your negligence. Now it's coming a time where you're going to pay for the disrespect, man. See? Matter of fact, let's get Luke real quick. The book of Luke, chapter 19, verse 27. Luke chapter 19 and verse 27. Watch this. But those mine enemies, which would not that I should reign over them, bring hither and slay them before me. So guess what? All those who don't want the Lord, the God of the Bible, to rule over you, all you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you are enemies, man. You Israelites, all you 2/3, you are enemies to the Heavenly Father. And guess what? He gonna slay you for that. Let's continue to prove that. Let's continue to prove that. Let's go to Luke. No, Salaki. Let's go to back to Isaiah. Isaiah chapter 1. Isaiah 1 and 23. Matter of fact, I'm gonna start at 20. Let's start at 20. I read this last night, but I'm gonna bring it out again. Isaiah 1 and 20. But if ye refuse and rebel, what does the word rebel go into? Wage war. You waging war against Yahweh Shem Yahushua by not hearkening or not listening. But if ye refuse and rebel, ye shall be devoured with the sword. Who is the sword? The sword is none other than Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. Let's prove that. Isaiah chapter 10, verse 5. He set him up to be your rod, the rod of your correction, man. That's why they crack your head with those nightsticks. That's why they shoot you 90 times, man, like they did that boy up there in Akron, Ohio, man. See that? That's why all the laws and all his statutes that he signed into his rules, guess what, are set to go against you, to oppress you. See that? Let's continue. Isaiah 10 and 5. Oh, Assyrian. Assyrian is none other, is a code word for Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. Oh, Assyrian, the rod of my anger, and the staff in their hand is my indignation. That staff is going into the sword, his weaponry, man. And that even goes from his food, from his philosophies, his doctrine. You know, when you go to his schools, what are you being taught when you go to school? We would like to believe, hey man, we're going to learn. Well, you're going to learn white supremacy. That's what you're going to learn. You're going to get indoctrinated into that. What does that mean? Everything that he teaches you, he's telling you that he made every damn thing. See? Where does history start at in his books? Well, 1492. See that? The Renaissance period. See that? What does he give you? He give you George Washington Carver You know, he give you the peanut, tell you a little bit about Martin Luther King. That's about it. Rosa Parks sitting in the back of the bus. Well, guess what, man? The scriptures tell you what? Let's get that real quick. Let's get that. Jeremiah, and we'll come back. Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 16. Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 16. Watch this. The portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things. What is the root word of the word former? Form. Form goes into formulate. So Jacob formulated damn near everything. First he started with Yahweh Shai, who the world calls Christ, made all this, man. Everything that you see today, from the NBA to rap music, see that? Huh? To a Louis Vuitton belt. Guess what? He gave men the ingenuity to formulate these things, man. Now what's happening? Now what's happening? Now you go on to TikTok, you go on to Instagram. Now you getting the truth about all the inventions that the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans made. You come to find out that guess what? They damn near made everything. Who made the cell phone? Huh? The so-called black people. Who made the alarm system? Huh? The so-called black people, man. And we reading it right here. Jeremiah 10 and 16. The portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Ottawa of hosts is his name. So guess what? Jacob, the 12 tribes, formed everything, man. Who made a damn air conditioner? The so-called white man told you he created basketball, Dr. James Naismith. Well, who needed the recreation? The slaves on the plantation. The so-called white man was sitting on his ass. How did he have the time? What did he need to play a game for? Huh? See that? And what does the truth do? Let me get that real quick and we'll go back to Isaiah. What does the truth do? John chapter 8, verse 32. John chapter 8 and verse 32. Watch this. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. So guess what? We free in the mind. Those who got this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, free in the mind. You are no longer shackled by the lies and the philosophies of Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, who got you calling yourself a damn color. What does the word black mean? Void of light. You know, negative, soil, dirty, man. What does the word white mean? Natural, pure. See that? Our people are subscribing to these lies, man, with no problem. Let's continue. Going back, Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 6. Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 6. I'm going to start at 5 again. O Assyrian, the rod of my anger, and the staff in their hand is my indignation. I will send him against a hypocritical nation. Who is that hypocritical nation? You so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You Israelites. You are that hypocritical nation. Against the people of my wrath will I give him a charge. So he gave the so-called white man charge over you. Huh? See that? To take the spoil and to take the prey and to tread them down like the mire of the streets. And that's exactly what he's done, man. Treaded us down like the mire of the streets, man. So much so that our people ain't even got no hope. You sit around here, you walk past, they walk past me and see me and think something wrong with me. Huh? Call like you lie, your house. So now, where did I come from? Would the Lord please send me back? Bring it back to me. Isaiah 1. So while you have about Shem Yahushua, Isaiah the first chapter. Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 20 again. But if ye refuse and rebel, ye shall be devoured with the sword. So-called white man gonna devour you. And he coming back down now with what? The RFID microchip. The mark of the beast. So as our people walk past and walk around as if nothing going on, because really you trust in Israel. You trust in the so-called white man. Right? The white man is your God, man. The so-called white man, Esau, Edom, is your God. And if you ask majority of our people that question, is the so-called white man your God? They're gonna get mad at you. And they're gonna tell you, hell no, fuck them. I hate white people. Oh, they ain't shit. Well, guess what? As soon as he tell your ass something, what do? You fall in line. See that? And actions speak louder than words. Isaiah 1:20 again. But if ye refuse and rebel, ye shall be devoured with the sword. The so-called white man is the sword of the Heavenly Father. For the mouth of the Lord has spoken it. The mouth of the Lord is the prophets, man. The men that he set up. Let's continue. Verse 21. How is the faithful city becoming harlot? Because our people have done what? You have committed adultery by going after the ways of the so-called white man, man. Going after his philosophies. Going after Roman Catholicism. Calling yourself a damn Christian, you know, or a Baptist. Calling yourself a damn Muslim. You know, you are committing spiritual fornication and adultery, man. You are that harlot. You playing the harlot. Just going after his doctrines or his philosophies. You are playing a harlot, man. How is the faithful city becoming harlot? It was full of judgment. Righteousness lodged in it, but now murderers. Verse 12. The silver is become dross, the wine mixed with water, man. Yeah, man. So guess what? T.D. Jakes, Geno Jennings, IUIC, a lot of these other Israelite camps, guess what? They mixing water with the wine, man. See? Going into what? Let's get that real quick. I believe that's 2nd Esdras, the 6th chapter. Let me see. 2nd Esdras. Let me see if that's right. The 6th chapter. Or is it 5? 2nd Esdras 5. It's the 5th chapter. 2nd Esdras 5, verse 9. And, well, let's start at 8. There shall be confusion also in many places, and the fire shall be oft sent out again, and a wild beast shall change their places. So you got animals, they got up this way, they got something called zombie deer. These deer is just coming, you know, they coming and just sitting in your front yard, man. They ain't moving, they ain't nothing. They ain't scared of people, and they ain't running away or nothing. That's going into the animals changing their places, man. You know? These animals are no longer in the places, you know, where they supposed to be at, man. You know? And they showing less and less fear of humans, man. And menstruous women shall bring forth monsters. That's why a lot of these young jakes, you know, the drill music, they drilling now, man. They spinning, as they call it. They spinning the block. You know, these young brothers don't even want no money. They want to catch a body, man. See that? Verse 9. And salt water shall be found with the sweet. So that's going into the mixing of the water being mixed with the wine, man. And salt water shall be found with the sweet. You know, bullshit mixed in with the truth. And all friends shall destroy one another. Then shall wit hide itself, and understanding withdraw itself into a secret chamber. So that's what's coming. That's what's finna happen. All our people who are rebelling or walking are acting as if this is a game, or you know, as this just another phase in, you know, so-called black culture. You know, well, guess what, man? The wit gonna hide, the truth finna hide itself. Yahweh Shem Yahushua is gonna do what? Bring that famine of the word in, man. Call I am La, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Mekakwadash. Verse 10, 2nd Esdras 5 and 10. And shall be sought of many. So the same people who walking past as if it ain't shit, it don't mean nothing. Ah, man, he's just out here talking, ranting, and raving. Well, you're gonna be looking for brothers like me. Here shortly, Lord willing, he keep that spirit upon me, man, and that I endure to the end. And shall be sought of many, and yet not be found. Then shall unrighteousness and inconsistency be multiplied upon the earth. So guess what? People gonna be doing more and more wickedness, because you're gonna be doing what? As we was reading last night in Romans, what was that? The 10th chapter, In the third verse, you're going to be going to find your own way. You're going to be seeking your own righteousness. You know, see that? You're going to be leaning on your own understanding. Well, let me say that. Scratch Romans 10 and 3, Romans 8 and 5. You know, to have a carnal mind is death, man. You know? So, now, Salaki, if I'm all over the place, I'm doing the best to edify to the best of my ability, though. Let's go to back to Isaiah. Back to Isaiah, chapter 1. And verse 22, I believe it was. Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 22. The silver has become dross, the wine mixed with water, because you are the silver, you are the precious jewels of the Heavenly Father, man. Israel, man. See? And you are created to be what? You are created to be the excellency of the earth, man. Precious. Verse 23. Thy princes are rebellious, and companions of thieves. Everyone loveth gifts. And in Ecclesiastes, the 7th chapter, tell you that a gift destroyeth the heart, man. And followeth after rewards. Thy judge not the fatherless, neither doth that cause neither doth the cause of the widow come unto them. Verse 24. Therefore saith the Lord Adonai Yahweh of hosts, the mighty one of Israel, I will ease me of my adversary and avenge me of my enemies. So guess what? The 2/3 of our people who are rebellious, who don't want to hear, who don't want to hearken, you gonna die the death of a heathen, man. You gonna be judged with his adversaries, man. See that? You gonna be burnt with nuclear fire, man. You gonna die the death of these heathen nations. Starting with the top heathen, who is the so-called white man, Esau Edom, man. He gonna put you down, man, and you deserve it. Isaiah 1 and 24 again, because I butchered it. Therefore saith the Adonai of hosts,